What up, what up, what up? You tuned into the Jose Morales podcast where we talk sports, business, and everything in between. I am your host, Jose Morales, and we're at my boxing academy. Joining me in the ring today is Dina Andrade.
What's up, what's up?
And some of you guys, most of you guys probably know Dina from the gym if you come to the gym. If you do not know her from the gym and you've seen the fight posters that we make when David fights and all that, she actually is in charge of that. Also, on the previous episode with Eric Andrade, this is her little sister. You know when we talked about her? This is the girl we were talking about. Another way you probably know her, Dutch Bros. That's why we're drinking Dutch Bros today.
Shout out Dutch Bros.
Yeah, shout out Dutch Bros. She loves Dutch Bros. What do you usually drink at Dutch Bros?
I have
used to drink Rebel. I mean, what are they called? Rebels?
Rebels.
Yeah,
Always Rebels. Never coffee. I don't like coffee.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee either.
But I have like 5 favorite Rebels, and I usually go like
Is that a Rebel?
rotate. Yes.
Oh, that's a Rebel?
Yep.
I didn't even know I ordered a Rebel.
Well, usually if you say like the Aquaberry or like unless you say it's a tea, then it's always gonna be a Rebel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a tea. I drink teas there. Black tea, peach black tea, or the raspberry. I'm on the raspberry right now. Raspberry black tea, baby.
Yeah,
Fire.
I'm not that big of a tea person either.
I don't care, Kelly. I don't care, Dina.
Kelly.
The reason why I said Kelly, I thought about Kelly. Check this out. So yesterday, Kelly got us Dutch Bros. I gave her a specific order of Dutch Bros for everybody, and I literally said the tea that I had. I said raspberry black tea. I said it like 30 times. She showed up with a peach. I'm like Kelly. I said it like 20 times. I'm more clear.
I hear that the peach black tea is good though.
No, it is good. It is good. But I think I mean the thing that I do is when I like something, I go hella hard at it, and I get it, and I get it, and I get it, and I get it.
Yeah.
And I think I've been getting it for way too long. So I switched it up, got the raspberry, but the raspberry is fire. Oh my goodness, it's fire. It's hella good. I'm a tea drinker. Anyways, so what we're gonna talk about today with Dina, we're gonna get into her boxing, get into her story, get into what she does now. What exactly do you do now?
Now I work at my church. I'm technically a licensed minister. So I do that. And then I actually also do, like a radio podcast show, that's on Thursday nights. So that's what I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get into kind of how she got there. Cause I think similar to Missy's story, if, those that heard Missy's story, I really love how Missy's, why all the things that affected her life really got her to where she is now in law enforcement and with fitness. And I feel like very easily people forget of what their where their heart is. So they're so following the hype, seeing on Instagram when people are flaunting money, flaunting this and that, and they're not really following their heart. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean by that?
Definitely. And you know what? I actually kind of ran from that for a long time for me because I didn't want to necessarily be a cliche.
Yeah.
You know, because people are like, sometimes when you go through things, people are like, oh, well, okay, that made sense. They're only doing that because that's what they went through. But I believe that there's a purpose for your life, like a divine purpose set up for your life. And I feel like sometimes people avoid what their life was meant for just because they don't want to be some type of statistic or cliche when you're the one that kind of decides that for your life, you know.
I never thought of it like that.
That's me though. That's just me.
I never thought of it like that. The way I thought about it is people, when they make career choices or what they decide to do with their life, first thing they come out to and think about, if you think about it, listen to the conversations, how much money do they make?
Right.
That's like the first probably top one.
Oh yeah.
How much money does it make?
Yeah.
Or when you talk to somebody, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm going to school for this because they make this amount of money. It's like the first thing right away.
Right.
Versus thinking about what it is they love about it or what it is, why they want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the things I love about you, and that you're following your heart. You're not necessarily following, it makes this amount of money.
Right.
I love that. I can relate to that. like you guys already know what I had a great paying job, and I'm like, that's not my heart, that's not my passion, and I'm following my passion, my heart, not because of the money, because of the impact I'm making people's lives.
Right,
and
right.
That's exactly what you're doing, and that is exactly why I love you.
Thank you.
And exactly why I love what you do and what you stand for.
Thank you.
And I thought it was great to share your story. A lot of things that I didn't even know until recently, and also very life-changing, traumatic things that happened that I know for sure will help a lot of people, because I know for sure a lot of people are dealing with that.
Yeah.
And what we're going to talk about really is sexual abuse. Dina actually, how do I say it? I'll let you say it. What happened, Dina?
Well, it's crazy. I don't necessarily like to say I'm a victim or anything like that. It does sound kind of cliche to say I'm a survivor, right? But I think that's really what it is whenever someone encounters any type of abuse.
Because not everyone survives that. That's
exactly.
true. You are a survivor.
You can become, I guess, a victim of it. So, but I don't know. So I'm a daughter of immigrant parents. My mom was in a really abusive relationship, and she escaped that relationship. We were living in San Diego, and she had escaped the relationship and moved up to Sacramento, because that's where her side of the family is. And at the time, she became a single mom of 3 kids, immediately, instantly. She was an immigrant. She didn't really know much English. She just started looking for jobs because she had to feed us. So she ended up working 2 full-time jobs. We never saw her. We were sleeping in different aunts and uncles' houses and stuff like that. And for as young as I can remember, I don't remember anything about living in San Diego, but I do remember, when we lived here and we were living in different family homes, there was a particular person in our lives that kind of took advantage of the accessibility that they had to me. My mom worked 2 full-time jobs, so she depended on a lot on the people around her to help with her kids. And rightfully so. She, I think when you are in a rough spot, it's no question to trust the people that are closest to you. It's just unfortunate that sometimes some of those people are people that you don't really know until their true colors get exposed later on. But I think I was because the first recollection I have of sexual abuse, I know it was before I started school, because I remember my siblings would come home from school and they would be speaking English, and I didn't understand a word of what they were saying. I was like, what is happening? And this particular person that, my mom had entrusted to help take care of us was already around and, kind of present. So I went through, I encountered sexual abuse, I think, until I was about to be 13. And I finally was just kind of, I just was fed up.
So before you were in school, so this is 4 years old.
Yeah.
Till you were 13.
Yeah.
You were being sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
By this asshole.
Yeah.
And then what gets me mad, this is what gets me mad. What gets me mad about this is this asshole. I'm going to call him asshole this whole time.
Okay.
This asshole.
Your words.
Was very close to Eddie.
Yeah.
And if you heard Eric, I told you he was recently on the podcast with me. That's like my brother. I'm very close to him. He looked at him like his dad.
Yeah.
No joke.
Yeah.
I remember him talking to me, and he was like, bro, I love him.
Yeah.
I love this asshole. He loved him. He trusted him. He was literally like his dad.
Yeah.
And I remember asking him always conversations about Father's Day or things like that, and he would always bring him up. He obviously very much loved them and cared for him.
Yeah.
So to know that Eric had this relationship with him, and then behind Eddie's back and behind everybody, the whole family, he was doing this to you.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
that I don't know, like how much more of a.
You know what though? To be honest, that's probably one of the reasons why it took me so long to say anything. Dang it, I'm gonna cry, and I was just like, tell myself I'm not gonna cry, but that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't say anything for a long time. I was used to being hurt. I was used to being like the one that could take the blows, and I didn't want to. I didn't want any casualties along the way in my family just because I decided to, I guess, speak my truth. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt my mom because I didn't want her to feel any kind of guilt. I didn't want to hurt my brother because I knew that he was really close to him. I didn't want to hurt. I didn't want to hurt his family and his kids because at the time I was close to his kids too. And I was used to being hurt. I was okay with it. And that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't say anything for a long time. And obviously when you're abused, you go through like this whole psychological cycle where they're telling you all these lies too of, no one's going to believe you. Everyone's going to think, you're wrong or you're going to get in trouble and you're going to mess things up. And when you're being told that since you're a child, I think especially like in a Mexican household, discipline is really rough.
Yeah.
So the last thing you want is to be disciplined
Dina's
for
like
something.
always on the border of getting murdered by her mom. If you guys don't look at her IG story, Dina's like always so close to getting her ass kicked.
My mom is crazy. I love her.
No, but so tell me what was it like? Like what, I don't get it. Like I don't see how he got away with this with for so long. Like what that's what's incredible to me. Like how did he go? That's a good 7 years.
Yeah, I think trust.
Oh shit, that was more than 7 years. Damn.
Yeah, I don't even know what's the math. Like 9 years or things like that. I think trust played a huge factor. He had the trust of my mom and family around me, and and it's not anything against towards anyone. They didn't really. Like I said, sometimes you don't know someone's true colors until they're exposed later on. And I think unfortunately it was just a situation that we were in too. My mom had to work.
Yeah.
She had to work.
But where was everybody else? Like Eddie, Brenda.
I mean, we were all kids. So sometimes
This was at your house?
it would be anywhere, honestly. Yeah, it'd be anywhere. But my sister is 7 years older than me. My brother is 4 years older than me. So, as we got older, my sister's got friends that she's gonna go hang out with.
Yeah.
And my brother's, got his friends that he was gonna go hang out with, and sometimes it would just be me that he would be with, taking care of, right?
Yeah.
So,
how did you come to the conclusion that you were ready to speak up? Like, how did that go about?
Well, I think it was a combination of things. My brother actually started taking me to church when I was about 11.
Yeah, I think for the record, I think Eddie made everyone go to church.
Yeah. Right. I mean, there was a season where it was like, if you stayed the night at our house on Saturday, you were going to go to church on Sunday. There was no question.
There was no ifs about it.
But
and he lured me into that. That fucking Eddie. Because I'm over here trying to kick it with Eddie, and then I'll go over there. I'm like, what the hell? How did I end up in church, Eddie? Like, we were supposed to kick it today, and we're in church.
I know.
So did the church play a role in like getting you to speak up?
Not the church necessarily, because no one in the church knew either.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone found out around the same time when I actually spoke up about it. But for me, I started feeling when I'd go to church, I'm a huge believer in God and in like that, there's a greater being out there that,
Yeah.
So I started feeling a lot of, like life impacting moments in my church when it was like with worship and going to like youth camps and stuff. And then I kind of got I think for me there was a point where I kind of snapped, and I was like, enough is enough. And I'll never forget it. The day that I finally said something, I was walking home from school, and I knew that he was going to be at my house waiting for me because he was going to give me a ride to my church that night. And
how old were you? 13?
I was about to be 13.
Okay, so middle school.
Yeah, it was middle school.
Okay.
And the abuse got so intense where there wasn't a time where if I saw him, so there was
this
gonna
like full on sex, or is it like, was he just touching and grabbing? Like what exactly was it as far as abuse?
It was everything besides penetration. So I mean, yeah, obviously without getting too vulgar, it was like everything besides that. I mean,
and this was like that the whole time.
Yeah, I mean it grew,
and it got
it
more
started
intense.
Yeah.
Okay.
It started, obviously really subtle, and then it just kind of,
he started getting more comfortable and more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So keep going. So you're on your way home from school.
Mm-hmm. I was on my way home from school. I had gotten dropped off from the bus stop. I was with one of my good friends at the time, and she lived like down the street from me. And I knew he was going to be there, and I knew what was going to happen because, like I said, it came to a point where anytime I saw him, it didn't matter where it was. I already knew what to expect because it was just something that he had already established. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of already knew what was coming. And so I remember we got to the corner of where like her house was across the street to the left, and then my house was to the right, kind of around this curve. And I was able to see his truck, and I just stopped there and I started crying. And my friend was like, what the heck just happened? Because we're just walking home from school. It was a regular day. And I told her, I said, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home. And she was like, why? What happened? What's going on? And I said, can we just go to your house? I don't want to go home. And I went to her house, and I remember I just cried for a long time. And then her mom was kind of nervous, and she was like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. And then I just kind of ended up telling her mom. So I stayed at my friend's house, and we kind of hid out there. She had me hiding out there, and her mom went around like our neighborhood in her car to try to see if he was still there. And he was there for a long time. He waited there for a long time, and then eventually he left. And then I think he ended up calling my mom and was saying, oh, Dina never came home. I don't know where she went. And so then I had called my mom and told her, hey, I'm at, my friend's house. So just tell me when you get home. And my mom was like, what the heck? This is weird. So my friend's mom told me, she told me, she's like, you have to tell your mom, or I'm going to have to tell your mom. So that night, when I finally went home, I had that conversation with my mom, and I had told her. And then from then on, it was just it got worse, to be honest.
Worse? So I want to know what your mom's saying, because I wish I was there during that time. 'Cause I already know your mind was probably pissed off.
Oh, my mom was angry.
So, all right.
My mom, when she gets really, really, really angry, she like breaks out in hives. She probably doesn't like that I'm saying this, but she'll break out in hives in her chest and in her face.
We won't tell her you did this.
And you can tell her, you can tell her face was just hot. And, she started crying because she couldn't really say anything. She was trying to get words out and she couldn't, and you could tell she was just angry. And then she just asked me, why haven't you said anything? And I told her, I said, well, I didn't want to get in trouble. He told me I would get in trouble. And then she stayed quiet for a long time. And I didn't hear what she had to say, but I heard later on about the stuff that she did have to say. And my mom was, she was looking for hitmans. She was out for blood, to be honest. She was asking people, she was setting stuff up.
How about Brenda and Eddie? What was Brenda? First tell me Brenda. I already know Eddie went. I don't
think I wasn't there when she found out, but she was really quiet too. She was really angry and really quiet. I love my family so much. They probably understood that, I was in a really hard spot and they didn't want to put anything else on me.
Yeah.
My brother went ape
Yeah, I know. I know.
He went.
I know Eddie did. Eddie burned down his truck.
Yeah, he went.
Eddie went to his house
He
and burned down
did.
his truck.
He did. He did. Yeah, he went. He went
You
ape.
know, yeah.
But
Eddie, and those that do not know Eddie, I call him Eddie. But
yeah,
Eddie is like the nicest person,
he really is.
and then the other side is like the devil. Like this guy is like, there's no gray zone. He's
No.
either the nicest person on planet Earth, or he's the most fucking dangerous person.
Yeah, pretty
Like
much.
there's no gray zone at
pretty
all.
much. Yeah.
And yeah, when I didn't even find out about this till way after all this.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this
Yeah.
until I'm trying to think. I think like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
6 years ago. This is recent to me. This is all new to me.
Yeah. It.
And
I think for me it got worse after well, let me say this. It got worse before it got better. Because after that we just kind of cut off all ties and all connections with him. We didn't speak about him, nothing. That was it. And then there was a time in my life where I felt like I felt guilty for not pressing charges because I felt like he was still having access to people,
mhm.
and I was like, that's not right. I didn't care to press charges for me because I don't want to hurt anyone. If you're wrong, if you did something wrong and you're sorry for it, that's fine. I believe that everyone has a chance at redemption. But what I couldn't live with was the idea of him having access to other kids, right?
Yeah.
So that's when for me one day I was like, I want to press charges. And the trial process was the most, gruesome, horrible experience of my life, to be honest.
Right.
Because it's so...
Share that. Go into detail about that. Because you
It's-
said that to me once already, and I don't quite understand why it was so bad.
Well, it went on for about 2.5 years. Because I was the one pressing charges, the whole case was going off of my testimony. And it's hard when it's a sexual abuse case because it's going to be a bunch of hearsay. So the only thing you can really do to help your case is to try to get more witnesses. So there was, when I started to press charges, there was other family members that had come forward that had encountered the same.
It was like 3 or 4 different girls, right?
Yeah. And so I had asked them if they wanted to press charges with me, and then it would make the case stronger. So it was about 2.5 years, and it's overwhelming because you're having to go into gruesome detail about every account that you can remember to a bunch of different people that you don't know. There's detectives, there's your DA, there's there are people that are questioning, and then you get subpoenaed to go to court, and then you have to get mentally ready to see this person.
Yeah. During that time, did you kind of like, man, I kind of regret even pressing charges?
I didn't regret it. Actually, I think the fact that I had people that wanted to press charges with me on my case, I think that helped me be strong because I wanted to win it for them, not necessarily win it for me. But it was hard. I remember I went through like a really hard depression like those 2 years. It was like in the middle of high school. I didn't want to get up. I would pretend to get ready to go to school, and then I would just get back in bed. And my brother would call into school and just say that I was sick that day. And it was just hard because you have people looking at you. You have these girls that have gone through the same thing, and you're feeling all this pressure to want justice to be served on their behalf. And then stuff was going on with family that I know people were saying stuff about me, and I know they were, smearing my name, but I get it. At that point, it's a he said, she said thing, right? So he's going to want to say that everything he can to smear my credibility. So I'm getting hits from different angles and stuff. And then I finally went and testified. And then the whole testimony thing is hard because you've got people cross-examining you. You've got a panel of 12 strangers that you're having to prove your story to, and you're being really vulnerable and you're being really graphic about everything. And then you've got people that are trying to discredit your story, and then you start feeling crazy. Like, I remember one time I had to do a wired phone call to him. And I remember I started getting really angry because my detective told me if you can get some type of apology from him, that is technically a confession. And I kept trying to get him to say sorry, and he kept going around this whole loop. And I remember I just freaked out, and I said, stop making me feel like I'm crazy. I know I'm not crazy. Before me and before God, you know exactly what you did. And it was just hard because you're like, dude, I'm literally like bearing my whole soul here, and people are still saying, yeah, well, maybe not. Well, are you sure? And I don't know. It was hard. We ended up losing the case because there was one juror who wasn't fully convinced of all the testimonies, and we had to do a mistrial. I was prepared for the mistrial. I was like, okay, let's do it. And a mistrial is you have to do the whole process all over again with a new jury. But there were people in, the girls that were, from what I was told from my DA, when it came to a mistrial and she asked us all if we wanted to do it again, I was the only one that said I wanted to do it again. But my testimony wasn't strong enough by itself because it is a he said, she said. So they had to drop the case and leave it at that. He got time served, and that was it. His time served was he was locked up during the whole trial. So I was sad that we lost, but I was sad that we lost because I felt like I had let down the girls that had pressed charges with me.
Yeah.
But, that's why I say it got worse before it got better. But eventually it got better.
Did your relationship with those girls get better or worse after this?
I think it just kind of became whatever. I mean, I didn't talk to them. And it's not that I didn't talk to them because I didn't want to. I just felt so much guilt. I felt a lot of guilt. But things are better now. I'm only crying. I don't know why I'm crying, to be honest. I tell my story all the time. It's not anything new to me because I feel like...
Yeah, why is it so important for you to share your story to you?
Well, I find for me, sharing my story is empowering to me because I feel like secrets is what kept me captive for a long time.
Yeah.
Keeping quiet about it is what fed the abuse. And to this day, I'll answer any question you want, and I'll be an open book, and I'll share whatever, because you can't hold anything over me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me,
when you started talking about it, did you ever feel like, oh, the way people are going to look at you, like, oh, they're going to look at me with petty, or they're going to think a certain way about me, or they're going to judge me, or they ever cross your mind?
For a minute, yeah, it did.
Did it stop you at the beginning? When it crossed your mind, did it kind of hesitate you?
I did. It made me hesitant.
Star you?
It made me hesitant. And I think it's because, too, I think now, if I talk about it, I don't want people to necessarily look at me as what I encountered. I understand that I was just crying. I get that. It's a real thing. But, just because something hurts me, or just because I encountered some type of abuse, it doesn't define me.
Yeah.
I'm the one defining my life, right?
Yeah.
So
I love how you said that.
Yeah, so it's just, I was hesitant at first. I think when I was going through my court case, I had a core of 5 friends in high school that knew about what was going on, and that was it.
And I wasn't a part of that.
No.
You messed up. Nah, I'm playing. No, it's crazy. The reason why I bring that up is I feel people can learn so much from this, right? Mm-hmm. And like I'm gonna come back to like my story, me sharing all my vulnerable spots in my life.
Yeah.
Really connect me with a lot of people, and a lot of people share their stories with me, and it kind of gives them that outlet of that they don't have. People don't come out and talk about certain things because they feel like they're going to be judged and they're going to be this and that.
Right.
So when they hear somebody that's lived through the same thing they have, they're most likely to share that with them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
I tell people I'm an open book because you don't know who needs to hear your story.
exactly. Yep.
And it's just, that's really all it is.
Yep.
And if I had to go through something like that so that I can show that it's possible,
To survive it and
Exactly.
and live through it and
Then that's
become
okay.
out of it strong. Yeah. Yep. I agree. And that's how it is with most of the things. Some people
Yeah.
won't connect with this, but then you have 2-3 people that really will, and they'll hit home.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. It
Yeah.
means a lot. Another thing that is very important out of this, that I think is very important, like how we're starting in the beginning. I always think of it like sports for some reason.
Yeah.
But people are gonna laugh at me about this, but everyone has the role of
Yeah.
whatever they're gonna do in life, whatever it is it may be. And in this place, not everyone's gonna be the Michael Jordan of the team. You know what I
Right.
mean? Everyone's gonna have some sort of role. I feel like on social media and people are seeing everyone's trying to be that
Mhm.
Michael Jordan in life
Mm-hmm.
when they don't need a Michael Jordan. Sometimes they may be a Scottie Pippen or
Yeah.
you know, something else
A
that's going
Dennis
to play the
Rodman.
role in life.
Mhm.
This is the game of life, and now play your role.
Yeah.
And your role may be impacting lives in this way. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
This avenue, and that's your calling. So quit trying to be something
Right.
that's not you just for money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's that's the kind of aspect, the way I'm looking at it, and that reason why I really like this. Besides the crazy story that you have.
Yeah.
Let's get into boxing now. Let's change it up.
Okay.
How'd you get into boxing? Why'd you want to do this? How you like it? Talk to me about the gym.
Okay. Well, I think, first of all, growing up, I think there was only like one or two girl cousins that I was around a lot growing up. I feel like I always was around a bunch of boy cousins, which
Yeah.
was you and like Ulises
don't
and
cry.
all of them.
Don't cry.
I can't stand you. But I was always really aggressive growing up, especially with my brother.
Dina hits like a dude. For real, Dina is hella strong like a dude. If you guys ever like watch your shadow boxer hit the bag. I'm telling you, Dina hits like a fucking man.
That sounds so like intense.
It sounds bad, but you do. You're not your typical girl.
Well, I did kickboxing for a little bit. I think it was like my senior year or something like that, and I loved it. I loved the aggression of it. Even when I played soccer, I was a defender, and I mean, I was going for girls, dude. I was like, and same thing with basketball. I played basketball, and I used to get fouled out almost every other game because, first of all, in basketball, everything's a freaking foul.
Yeah.
I mean, you barely touch someone on the wrist, it's a foul. But for me, every sport that I played, I was always very aggressive. So I got into kickboxing for a little bit. I loved it. And then I just kind of stopped doing it. Well, then when I heard that you were going to open up a gym, well, and then too, in the family, you were always the boxer.
Yeah.
It was you were always the one doing the boxing and everything. So when I found out.
And then before that, for the record, people don't believe that Bobby Jackson's always been my favorite player.
Yes. Okay. You know
Okay.
what? If you guys heard Bobby the podcast, and Jose talks about the first time he met Bobby Jackson was at Denny's. I was with him when we saw Bobby
Yeah,
Jackson at
you're right.
Denny's.
Yeah, I was with
and
Dina.
he was so like starstruck, the fact that Bobby Jackson had just walked in. He made me go with him to the table,
yeah.
and he made me ask Bobby for an autograph. He was gonna ask him. I remember Jose was about to ask him, and then he looked at me. He goes, "You ask him. You ask him. You ask him." And Bobby's like, "Ask me what?" And I said, "Can we have your autograph?"
Yeah.
So no, but anyway,
No, but people don't really. People think.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me this. You only say you like Bobby because he's in your gym, but I'm
Right.
dead serious.
Yeah.
I've always loved him.
I validate it.
But keep going. So you got into boxing because
Well, I heard that you were gonna open up your gym,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh, I love it. I'm down. I want to do it." Like, it's just something that I've always loved doing it. And then the moment I came in this gym, it felt natural to like just be aggressive and hit stuff. And I'm also a competitive person, so
she sucks at Mortal Kombat though.
Shut up.
Anything she plays against me, she loses.
OMG! Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just for me, it's I with every time I hit a bag or I hit the mitt or something, I want that next hit to be harder. Even if I'm in the ring. Now, I'm not the best person to spar because I gas out so fast, and I get that.
But honestly, Dina, you would be really good. The problem is you're stopping yourself.
I know.
Does that sound like life? That sounds like life, huh? You're stopping yourself.
Definitely.
Because it's you. I told you this a lot of times.
Yeah.
I even told Eddie this. I had a full-on conversation with your brother about you.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, bro, Dina is very talented in a lot of different ways. And in the gym, she's very talented. Like, you would do really good.
Thanks.
But you're stopping yourself.
I know.
You can't let the Dutch Bros down. You can't dedicate yourself to running. But I'm telling you, if you put your discipline behind it,
Yeah.
you would do really good in boxing. And the reason why I say that is if you did the same in life,
Right.
you'd be doing the same. And you could do it. Look, like right now you're doing great.
Yeah.
With doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you went hard at it, where you would be.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I
Dina.
know. I know. And
I'm telling you.
it's not that I don't know. I just,
It's hard.
it is hard.
Yeah.
It is
shit,
hard.
Dutch Bros is fire, bro. I agree.
It-
I'm drinking it right now.
And to be honest, I hate running. I hate running so
And
much.
you love sugar.
I love sugar. I think one time we were at the gym. We had just finished a class, and I was like, I'm about to go get some donuts. And you're like, you really telling me you're gonna go get donuts after a class? I said, I only come to the gym so I can eat what I want. I don't come to the gym. I just come so that I don't look like I eat, or I don't look
All right,
like what I eat.
And what does that sound like?
I
I compare it to life. What does that sound like?
it sounds mediocre.
No, it sounds like this. This is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like I only go to work, so I'm not broke.
Right.
I'm not trying to do nothing else in life. I'm just trying to have a
Right.
paycheck.
Okay, but
It sounds identical. Sounds
I get
identical.
that. I get that. But my journey with boxing is not the same with my life.
No, but the reason why I say that is I feel people think I'm crazy, but I know so much from people just by watching them box. I swear.
Oh, yeah.
I watch them train, and I watch how they are and how they work and the work ethic and their discipline, the way they listen, the way they train, and it tells me everything of how they are in life.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, to this day, I have yet to see it not be right.
Yeah.
Because whatever they're like in the gym, their personal life is mirror image of what they are in the gym. Mirror image.
Yeah.
Mirror. If they're not consistent in the gym, they're most likely not consistent chasing their goals outside of life.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not disciplined in the gym, they're most likely not disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
If they're hardworking in the gym, they're most likely hardworking in life.
Yeah.
It's weird as fuck, and people think I'm crazy, but it's very true.
Yeah.
And that's why I said that. What you said right there is mirror image to life to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to use boxing as a tool
Yeah.
to people connect them with themselves, see what they're like,
Yeah.
and then fix it, and then go on with life and boom,
Yeah.
kill it. You know what I'm saying?
I love boxing because of how honest it keeps you.
Yeah, it keeps you honest.
You
You
can't-
can't lie,
No.
bro. You can't lie. You can say you've been running, get in the ring, get
Exactly.
your ass kicked. No, bro, you have not been running.
And the combos and the way you throw and the way that you're standing, I mean,
Yeah.
it's all going to expose you. You can say anything you want, but the moment you start displaying it, that's when the truth comes out and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well,
Quit lying.
yeah.
Next.
Exactly.
Next. Hey, Dina has a funny story that she told me, and I wanted to share this story.
Oh, jeez. I don't even
She
remember.
was training, and those that have not hit mitts with me, and like you're already laughing, I smack the shit out of you when we hit mitts.
Okay.
That's just how I am.
Hold on. There's a disclaimer, though. I feel like you hit people that are your family harder than the people that are just
What do you mean
here.
disclaimer?
No, listen,
Ask-
even me and Kelly talked about it.
What?
Even me and Kelly talked about it.
No, I hit the shit out of everybody. If I'm holding mitts with you, and you are giving me, this is how I hold mitts. I'm gonna explain to people. I act like I'm your opponent. So
Uh-huh.
I want you to see the way I'm coming at you. I act like what an opponent would be trying to hit you with. Like
Right.
If they're trying to hit you with a body shot, that's where I would be going. That's where
Right.
I'm hitting you. Trying to kind of prep you on the defensive side.
Yeah.
I'm not just sitting there letting you just throw and make you feel good. Motherfucker, I want you to be ready because they're going to hit your ass back.
Yeah.
So if the shot's there, if you're giving me your left cheek, guess what? I'm going to hit your left cheek as hard as I can. And
I can't stand you.
I smack them, pop. And I'm telling you, 80% of the time, their defense gets way better because
Yeah.
they ain't trying to get smacked again.
Yep.
And it's funny that you said that, but it's not true. See, you heard Ricky right now. Ricky even said, no, he hit me too. But, so yeah, keep going your story. I smacked you one time hitting mitts,
We were
right?
in the ring.
Tell the story.
We were in the ring doing mitt work. Okay. And it was a combination of you hitting me hard and my ego getting shot. So we were in the ring hitting mitts, and it's, the whole class is here, right? And you're hitting, first of all, he starts hitting me hard, and I'm like getting frustrated. And the most frustrating part is when Jose knows that you're getting gassed out, he's not going to let you gas out. He's going to like take advantage of the fact that you're gassing out. And I get it. It's a tactic to push you, right? Because you know that there's more in the tank. But he just started like going ham on me with the mitts, and I started getting so mad. And there's people watching because they can see that he is hitting me hard with these stupid mitts.
No, I'm not hitting you.
Listen
that hard.
to me. So then finally, we were done.
She's exaggerating.
We were done with the mitt work. Usually when I leave the gym, I'll hang out, I'll talk. I'll take my time leaving. And then that time I got my bag and I left. I was so mad. I was mad. And then later on that night I had stopped by my mom's house for something, and she could tell that I was angry. She goes, "What the heck's wrong with you?" I said, "Jose, freaking take me off at the gym." And she's like, "Why?" She's like, "Because he was hitting me freaking hard with the stupit mitts. I'm trying to do mitt work and he's hitting me hard." And my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, be quiet."
Oh, it was hella weak.
Oh, I'll never forget
I love
that.
you, Thea. So shut up.
That was my whole life. If I went to my mom and cried, "Oh, Jose hit me," she goes, "You already know that's how they play. Then don't play with them."
Yeah, get used to it. All right, I'm going to start asking you random stuff.
Okay.
But first, before I ask you random stuff, I want to ask you if you have a girl or a boy, anybody, that's dealt with the same thing that you dealt with, and they're having a hard time kind of getting out, telling the world what this abuse that's going on with them. What kind of tips, what would you tell them? What would you tell them to motivate them or encourage them to be strong and that they could do it? What would you tell them, Dina?
I think I would tell them that they're stronger than what they think they are. They can handle a lot more than they think that they can. And I think that your freedom is worth it, to be honest. I mean, even if, let's say, like, you've gone through it and right now, let's say you've gone through it and you escaped it and you just haven't said anything, that secret can slowly kill you, and I think that your freedom is worth it. Your mental freedom, your spiritual freedom, all that is always going to be worth it. And you never really know who needs to see you walk through a trial. You just don't. The world is full of crappy things and people, and with any ray of hope that you can get through something and that you can survive it, I think the world needs it. Yeah. So I think people, maybe someone needs to see you walk through this trial and come stronger out on the other end. And to be honest, do it for yourself. You deserve to be free from all that mess.
I love it. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you.
All right. Next one. What is your favorite restaurant in Sacramento or in this area? It doesn't have to be Sacramento. In this area, what's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, my favorite restaurant.
Yeah. You can't think about it that long. Just say whatever you like to eat. Where you go eat? Favorite spot. Go.
Oh, well,
favorite restaurant.
My favorite spot that I like to eat all the time is like this taco truck that's off of Watt.
Watt and Antelope? Tacos del Rey?
Yes.
Tacos del Rey.
Yeah, Tacos del Rey. Oh, my gosh. Dude, like them and then the taco truck that's like off Natomas. Over there by like...
Tacos del Paisano. I mean, Patingan.
I don't know.
Wait, Natomas on Northgate?
Yeah, off the Northgate.
Oh, La Piedad.
Maybe.
La Piedad, Michoacan.
Those two, those, I'll go out of my way to go get those tacos like all the time.
Your sister really likes the one on Greenback.
I know. She keeps telling me about that place, and I still haven't gone. And I tried to go with her, but we went and it was closed. So I was like,
yeah,
dang.
they're actually from where we're from in Michoacan.
Yeah.
Tierra Caliente is the tacos Tierra Caliente. I forgot what it's called, but it's on Greenback. All right, next one. Well, tell me something about Dina that no one really knows, just you. I can say something about Dina nobody really knows.
What?
But I'll share mine. You start.
Dang, I don't really know if no one knows anything about.
Don't make me bust you out, Dina. I'll bust you out right now.
What are you gonna bust out?
All right, I'll share something about Dina that not many people know. Remember Dina when you was little? I think your ass probably still does it. You will laugh and your nostrils,
I can't stand you.
your nostrils would vibrate. And I would,
I can't stand
I would get on her helmet about that.
Okay, you know what you used to do too as a kid though,
Shit.
and my brother and I were talking about
cut,
it.
cut.
We're like, you used to always do this weird like moan thing. You used to be like almost
Bro.
like you were pushing something out, or I don't
Bro.
know. We were like,
Hey,
and
let
one
me tell
time
you why
I even
did
asked
that.
you.
That was me choking your asses out.
No, shut up. We'd be sitting playing video games, and you'd be like,
Really?
Yes. And one time I asked you,
You
said,
full of
why you?
shit.
No, I even confronted you. I said, why you moan like that? And you were like, what? Do what? I said, that what you just did. And you're like, I'm not doing anything. And you used to do it all the time. You don't do it anymore. But there was a whole season where you'd be sitting there, you'd be like, I was like, what?
I would not. Look at Ricky. I'm trying to think of that, but I
Ask
don't
my
remember
brother
doing
because
it.
I even brought it up. I said, "Do you remember when Jose used to do that weird moaning thing all the time?"
Maybe I was imagining something
Oh,
else.
I don't. It didn't sound like it.
don't.
Maybe you're imagining trying to get something out of your system. I don't know.
Nah, not that. Nah, I'm playing. I was gonna say something else. Oh, anything else you want to add to this before we end it? For the record, that's gonna get cut out, so no one's ever gonna know.
I'm
about
dead. Nothing really. I don't know. I mean, that's it. I mean, thank you for for having me. I appreciate it.
that. No problem.
For me, I think this was huge. I think this is like the first time, you know, family has asked me to speak about like my story. So, and can I say too, when I speak about my story, it's not to crap on anyone else. Like, I'm not speaking on my story to try to smear anyone else's name. Like I said earlier, I believe everyone can have access to redemption. So, you know, I don't wish any ill will on anyone who has done me wrong or anything in life. Honestly, to be honest, I hope and I pray that they become a better person and that their life becomes better, because I think we all need to be better people in the world. So, you know, just because I shared my story, I'm not trying to speak ill on anybody. That's not what I want. You know, that's not what I, you know, oh, do you hear Dina talked about? No, this is my story. And, you know, my story, I only speak about it so that I can try and help someone else, not so I can smear someone else's name. I can care less about all that, but that's it.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, that's it. Well, thank you guys for. How can we connect with Dina? Where's Dina at?
Oh, I'm on Instagram.
All the damn time.
Pretty much. I'm telling you, when I'm an open book, I'm an open book, right? You can know my whole life on Instagram.
The bad thing about Dina, if you're around her and you doing something, her punk ass is probably recording you on Insta Snap. So you got to be on your toes.
With
your
some
ass,
kind of filter.
yeah, some sort of filter. You're looking like a donkey. You got big eyes. Something's going on with you.
I'm dead.
And then she just laughs.
It's so funny.
You're an asshole. All right. So what's your Instagram handle?
Instagram at Dina.K. So at DINA.KAE. Or if you want to search my name on Instagram, it's just Dina Morales Andrade. So that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. If you get anything from this podcast or you know anyone that probably would benefit from it, share it, post it, let us know, send us a message, tell me what you think of it. And thank you for listening. We out.
Peace out.